everything's running very well, and the new needle seems to be cutting okay, so I don't think we'll have any trouble there.
Righto.
Righto.
Righto. I'll just put a bit of back tension.
Okay,
Make sure we get a superb call.
we've got delay in case there's any bad words used.
Hang on, you're not supposed to be here yet.
Get out, you're just...
Give me a level, Markovic.
Okay, well, this is normal level here. This is fish sleeping time level, which is probably good because I shouldn't wake them up. Right, I can hear pressions there.
Okay, good. Yeah, so doing replays and talking to the Markovic on the side.
And what have you been doing lately? Just playing replays?
Yeah, we've just been doing a few replays. You know, we've got about a week before varsity starts and all that sort of thing.
That's right, it's good sort of having a bit of holiday, although I should be doing work, I suppose you should be too.
Oh, hang on. I think there's someone at the window.
I think there's burglars there.
There must be burglars.
That's
Oh,
right.
oh, there's a face. There's a face at the window. Just a
And
minute.
don't tell me it's going...
Oh, it's the stew.
The stew, but he's
The
in G-Land.
stew's at the window.
My God, well, we'll let him in.
I'll just go and let him in.
Righto. The window seems to be stuck. I've got it now.
Right,
You got it?
He's in.
Climb in.
G'day, yeah.
He's got it down to a fine art. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking to the YOE,
Who's that?
the Markovic.
Oh, the Markovic.
Yes.
It really is the stew. It's not according.
No.
This is
No.
live. It is 10:30 on August the whatever.
Yes.
August
Just to
8th,
prove it.
1973.
That's right. We've just
That's
proved
incredible.
I'm starting my course at RMIT.
Yeah.
You know how I was going to start a course at RMIT in 1973?
And get your car stops.
Yeah, well, no. I was going to be engineers, actually,
Oh, right.
but I failed.
You've been looking in your horoscope again.
So car stops was second preference. Put that down.
I'll bring the sievers in.
Anyway, I've just come in to visit the branch. I didn't know he was on air.
It just shows how much he must be on air if you just drop in at any time through the window and he's on air. That's incredible.
It's
isn't
4 minutes to 3. Hey, his clock's working. The branch clock is working.
Really? But it wasn't usually.
It hasn't been working.
What time did it used to say?
It had some. It's all on all the photographs, the publicity photographs.
Yeah.
Um,
Time stands still in that shack.
That's right.
Well, it used to. It's now.
What
Things are
have you
going
done?
to progress and modernise.
I think you should get up and wreck it again.
We should. Otherwise,
For posterity.
the Half Moon Sievers will be replaced by a DR-28.
Oh,
See,
no.
actually, that's only superficial because inside that Half Moon Sievers, there's just one IC.
It's got an analog to digital converter on the half moon dial.
Yes.
And then it sets up pushes the little keys inside
Yes.
on the IC.
And it's all done with one IC, one series resistor off the mains and the diodes.
Nothing resistor off the mains. Internal regulated power supply.
Yeah.
It's incredible what they can do.
All the valves in the mixer aren't connected anymore. There's just one IC in there.
But
I
it's
know you've got
glowing.
little light emitting diodes in the bases.
Yeah.
Like that one there.
So
Yes.
that you can tell it's on.
Yes.
That's right. Little FET suspended in these glass
Well, you can't get the
cases.
parts anymore, you see.
You just can't get the wood.
But it's
No.
just so trendy to have the actual official Half Moon dial Sievers.
Definitely
Well,
wood.
this is it. I mean, things go in cycles, fashions go in cycles, and I'm just waiting for these
Fashion
shapes to come back into fashion, you see.
I guess so.
That's why I want to hang on to my box quarters will be worth $1 million one day. Cause
Sell it to a museum.
yes.
It's unique styling.
Yes.
The front RTV&H bad quality cabinet work
Yes,
styling.
yes.
Design work.
Copied straight off Neville Williams's box design.
Neville Williams. He's come a long way, you know.
Yes, with the horn rim glasses.
He hasn't come anywhere.
He doesn't have his photograph in the editorial. It's that other guy now.
I don't know.
He used to be good when he did Let's Buy an Argument.
And they had a picture of a typewriter, all
Yeah,
keys
the
coming
keys
out.
flying out in all
Yes.
directions.
It says, Mr. Smith from Alwood says that Ohm's law doesn't work. Well, let's investigate this. There'll be a picture of a resistor and...
There was one like that. Yes, there was.
No.
Somebody proved that they came out with a factor of 2. Quite a factor.
Real factor.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit of hum here.
Oh,
So I
no.
might go and get a couple of weeks buying arguments and have a look.
Yes.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yes, well, I just got down tonight. I left...
That must be some drive.
It-
I wouldn't like to do that.
it's a bit of a pain, actually. It only takes 6 hours, 6.5 hours.
Yeah, but still. I mean, what do you do on the way? Do you sort of do medium wave DX? Or?
Well, my car receiver doesn't work very well. What I did listen to, between Darlington Point and Jerilderie, I tuned across the sievers, and I heard the Long coming out of A Million Missions.
Oh, no.
The Long was on Aunties again, talking about nitrate movies in cans that he found in somebody's garage
A friend, yes.
in
That's interesting.
some suburb, and appealing to people to give their ancient movies to the Long so he can do more programs about it and become more of a big nullity.
Well, that's right. He seems to have caught the right bandwagon there.
He has, like...
Well, he's getting good listeners, but I don't know if anyone listens.
Well, he was on... If you added up how many megawatts he was on tonight,
Yeah.
all of Radio
It's
2 and
sort of-
3,
It would be several years of branch output.
it would
You know,
be.
the power bill.
Probably about half the ratings.
That's right. Yes. Look, if you could get hold of some tapes or something, you could really boost the ratings by playing them.
That's
Here
right.
on 160. It would be quite good.
But the Long is becoming rather a little nullity, actually. Quite a little nullity.
Yes, that's interesting. Yes.
Far cry from his double Z days when he had the history of Century of Sound
Yes.
with his scratched...
Not a very good announcing voice.
yeah, he's improved a lot. He must have gone to the
Some
Pulse.
say that, yes. Some say he's improved.
Mm.
Well, you're down in Melbourne. I wonder why
Yes.
that is.
Well,
If I'm going to do 600 miles at the petrol price it is, it has to be a darn good mission.
Yes, well, I certainly hope it will be.
let's hope tomorrow night is a darn good mission.
I hope so. Well, yes, look, the V, now the V we had in Shep was quite good. I thought it was... Are you still on?
Yes,
Oh, you are. It was very efficient, and
that's what I like.
didn't go for a wreck. I don't know how much you enjoyed it. I can't remember very much.
Well, I went for complete missions.
yeah.
Like, I woke up in that van,
Yeah.
the silly van, and I didn't feel bad.
There were a few photos of all that too.
Oh, no.
One, actually, well, I've got one of you, and you looking very happy, just smiling to yourself in a corner, with your eyes closed. Beck with some J Factors girl leaning against him, and he's wearing a crash helmet. The Bez has got a compromising picture of Beck.
They're not hard to get.
No, that's right.
There's about 1 million of them around.
And yes, and well, just more and more keep coming. And I've got that handbag photo in the park.
Oh, the Beck, when he had his handbags.
That's right. Yeah, it really comes out there. Perhaps some handbags, yes. And you playing on the swings there, Mr. Stew. And look, I think the photo finish proves that you did swing hard than that little girl.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
congratulations there. We'll give you the complimentary winning on the swings what you lost on the slides.
You'll give me a swinging choke.
Yes. And,
I never could understand how that system worked, but still.
well, I don't know. So that's very good indeed. And
Some regrets.
Not many regrets.
We're going to have an argument.
Oh, we can have an argument, but
did you
remember
come
this
in
one?
for an argument?
Make your own tape heads.
Oh, yes.
1953.
By Neville Williams. I wonder if he still remembers these things.
Yes,
He would be probably the most interesting person to talk to.
he would be.
It wouldn't be
Have
bad
it
to
on.
get a job like the Williams on a
No, it'd be
magazine.
good.
Why don't you try and get a big technical writer?
Yes.
Get
Got
into
here.
technical journalism.
Big headings here. Ever since the idea of tape recording caught the fancy of our readers,
Yes.
Last week.
Yes.
it has produced a much repeated question. Can I make my own head?
Good AGX,
You
man.
need a good head, yes.
The answer, quite simply, is
No.
possibly you can, and very cheaply too, provided you happen to be lucky with your stock of oddment bits and pieces.
And you
Old
want
heads.
high mission recordings.
Yeah, it's like a box of old Ackeye heads.
Junk box heads.
Yeah. It's got all these careful drawings.
Oh, yes.
G clamps,
Yeah, it's got
Winding
G-
wooden
coil.
block.
It's got a vice.
Yeah.
How do you wind them though?
That's right.
Just by hand. You
True.
get little bobbins and bits of aluminium. You go along and get all the bits. You get all the laminations. You
Yeah.
bend them. And what else we
Yes, well,
got?
how do you get a nice narrow head gap? That's
Uses hacksaw they've got here.
Now, what gaps did they get in those days? Now, let's have a look at the gap.
We can calculate the response you get at 7.5.
Yes.
Here we are. Typical gaps. Now, typical gaps these days are 1 micron.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's 7 inches?
Well, it's a
I forget.
Thousands. Could be too.
well,
a cassette head would have to be about that, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Pardon me.
I think it's 501
Mm.
a micron.
Anyway, what do you get with a hacksaw?
Anyway, with using a hacksaw and out in the back shed with your vice and your Neville Williams article,
Make it quarters.
in a head intended purely for recording, the gap is not critical. Blah blah
Purely
blah
for
blah.
recording. What else do you
We know that. A playback head should have the finest possible gap, and this generally means something like 0.0025 of an inch for good treble response.
3 KC.
Yes, I think
That's right. That gives you about 2 socks worth. That sort of.
0025 is a good recording gap these days.
Yeah.
Yes, it'd sound like a.
Well, when I went to buy new heads for my Pyrex recorder,
Pyrox.
the chap said there was one spare head left in a new box carton, and he said, oh yes, when those Pyrex recorders came out, if you got a good response to 1 KC for every inch a second the tape went, it was considered good.
Really? Truth.
So
1
it's
KC.
7.5, you got up to 7.5, 3 3/4, 3.5, or whatever.
Would you like to hear about reactivation of batteries?
Yes.
Right.
What's this? The oven method?
Yes, probably. Dear Mr. Williams, this is from, who is it from? Oh, it's from Eveready. It is. yours
Need to go and buy
yours
another one.
faithfully, Eveready Australia.
Oh,
Peter
Adams.
Adams. It's the Adams,
The Adams.
They give you some
He's been in a lot of
sabotage,
things,
man.
hasn't he?
hasn't he? Well,
Let's read it.
here he's into
Adams.
reactivation.
I knew he was into reincarnation, but this is something different.
In Australia, we've carried out tests over, this is for dry batteries, over the past 4 or 5 years, and in general we concur with the overall statement that dry batteries can be recharged subject to the following limitations. Gee, they haven't said much about this lately.
No.
Gee.
This could be something new.
Batteries should be reactivated by passing a reverse current through them after each period of discharge, whenever they're used. That's
Yeah.
number one. The amount of charge in ampere hours should be 120% to 180% of the amount of discharge during the last period. To avoid damage, the charging rate should be maintained low enough to extend the required charge over a period of not less than 12 hours.
To avoid damage to yourself.
Yes, that's right. Batteries which have been reactivated subsequently have a short shelf life, like they go off with a bang.
Very short. 1 microsecond. Nanosecond. Shelf life.
Reactivation is more effective with recently manufactured batteries than those near the end of their shelf life. Oh, fair enough. If the conditions under which the reactivation is carried out are incorrect, it is possible for the battery to be damaged, resulting in less rather than more service.
Sounds promising, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, they had all these ideas for punching holes in the side and dropping them into ammonium zinc chloride or something and sticking them in the oven for 6
Yeah.
hours. The easiest one is just to put reverse current through them, though.
Those batteries in those days were different to the ones we've got now, though.
But
Like
they
they just had a cardboard thing.
Yeah, but
The same basic construction and chemical
they still pack up
process.
the same way, though.
Yeah.
You get water.
Oh, look at that.
Build
There's
up-
Neville Williams with his microphone, his box, don't know what it does, all his mitters and things, and
Yeah.
bashing the keys like mad off his typewriter.
Yeah.
Really, they haven't had that photo for years.
No.
With that funny-looking old English Visions camera behind him.
Yes,
With
ancient.
the hood over it.
Yes, the hood over it. And oscilloscope thing in his waste paper basket. And the reader built it one where they had some guys.
Oh, let's see what's in the reader built it. This is...
Look, they were great. I love going back in and looking at
Yeah, I do
old
too.
art.
Oh, look, there's your
I
half
guess-
moon sievers ties.
Yeah,
£23.17 and sixpence.
It is true.
it's a bargain.
This is November 1953.
God, I was just.
They go back
Um,
into the radio, television.
I was
hobbies.
quite young then.
Oh, I was quite old then.
Yeah,
I don't think Mr. Markovich was even.
no, quite possibly.
He was in the minus numbers.
He was only a think
Quite
tank.
possibly. Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't this half our listeners wouldn't have been around when that was built?
I got all these. Like, these quite often turn up. Somebody cleans out their attic.
Yeah.
That's how I got these.
I
We've
go
got-
up to the library at Monash and just read through those when I should
But they
be
keep
doing
getting
other
knocked off. People keep tearing pages.
They
and
do.
you,
They
you
try
come
and
across
trace
this
them.
fantastic circuit, and the circuit's
Yeah.
not there.
I love them. You go find it, and the reader built it circuits like they have ham transmitter or something. You look it
Yeah.
up. It's one valve, all
Yeah.
band. quite incredible.
Then they say, these circuits have not been tested in our laboratories, build at your own risk.
Yes.
You reckon you build a
These circuits may explode.
mega explosions.
Oh, yes. The serviceman who smells.
Now, what was he talking about that week?
He starts off, the set was a pre-war model 5-valve mantle type, employing a 6A8 metal valve as the converter, a 6K7 GT IF amplifier, they had GT stripes, 6Q7 GT detector and audio amplifier, a 25A6 metal output valve,
Metal?
and a 5Z4. Let's see, what was the fault?
You have to skim through to the end.
They're very taming, those ancient...
Well, I find the serviceman things, some of them are really quite good anyway.
That's right.
I won't read the thing
Even when I
out.
can't make of what half of it is, but, you know.
Particularly when they start talking about colour sievers.
Cinemascope, how it works.
And I've got an ancient RTV and H at home. Build your own TV set.
Really?
And to economise, it's got 240-volt light bulbs instead of resistors, because they were cheaper to buy than resistors.
Really?
Yeah, and there's pictures of you've got all these light bulbs plugged in sockets at the back,
What a laugh. That's
and you've
great.
got a 5 BP1 crow tube.
Jeez.
Wouldn't that be good? I mean, it is silly just having resistors. They just...
Don't light up.
That's right, all these watts just going up in heat. Such a waste.
You should be able to.
Do something with them.
Just use DC inductors.
Gee, look, the long I'd like to read that article.
Oh,
It's
you
about
remember
ancient
that thing?
movies. Yes, they're useless too.
Yes.
Just go for a slip and a wow.
This pair of tape reels and a head that you stick on your table, stick on your turntable.
They didn't even have a capstan, did they? They just went for a pull.
Yeah.
That might
They
have
are
been
made by
advanced.
Bio, so I think that'd be alright.
But there was one model that tape just used to go for a pull through.
Here we are. News and views of the month, November 1953. The Woomera atom test would be like a firecracker compared to the explosion which must have accompanied
Charging your batteries.
a meteorite. Yes. A meteorite at Halls Creek in Western Australia.
I saw that crater.
Really?
It's quite tiny.
3 scientists said. W.A. Cassidy, Fulbright scholar, Dr. Dirtz, a Fulbright lecturer, and Dr. Gross, an Adelaide biologist.
Was that was discovered only about that time?
Yeah. What else we got? Plastics cause cancer, question mark.
That-
The practice of embedding plastics in the body might cause cancer in the patient years later.
But then again, you probably would have died if they didn't do it.
Yes.
Yes.
They had as high as 45% of rats developing cancer after plastics were embedded in their body.
Well, now we know not to embed plastic.
If you've got to get rid of rats, you just get old burrows and stuff them into the rats.
Oh, now look. Now look.
This is getting quite disgusting.
Popular science quiz, this is right underneath it.
Uh,
What is wood flour and for what is it used?
cooking rock cakes.
Wood flour is a material produced by granulating and pulverising wood scraps. Oh, that must be, would that be chipboard or masonite?
I don't know, really.
What's that funny sound?
Calaro going for
Oh, it's wound
flappity
itself,
flap.
is it? There's
Sounds
nothing really that interesting in this one. I'll find a hilarious one where there's some silly question addressed to Mr. Williams.
that zine is getting more and more like it used to be. It's getting more technical now.
Really?
They've got rid of all this CB rubbish and things.
Yeah, CB's Chicken Man's just going. It's quite good.
It's
actually.
it's more of a technical journal again.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Although you still do find the one IC projects.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
annoying. You know,
It is.
wideband receivers. You see this headline: wideband receivers, blah blah blah. This that, and the
Yeah.
other for AM, and you sort of flick across, and it's got one power supply, one IC,
Yeah.
a
Yes,
tune circuit,
sort of Richard Smith
and you go and look up the IC specs, and it's got
serial number, blah blah blah.
it's got no specifications on distortion at all,
Yeah.
and you build it up, and it's a complete storch.
That's right.
Yeah.
But some of those old RTV and H's, I was brought up on those. I used to spend my Saturday afternoons reading through the Waltham's Trading Post magazine advertisements.
Oh yes.
And they had there an ad said, emitters for sale 7 and 6. So I went into town,
Yeah.
went down to the underground part of Waltham's where the water was dripping through and all this. And I said, I'll have a 7 and 6pence worth of emitters. And they gave me this sealed box, army box, tropical coated box.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to open it and find a brand new 62 set or something. Opened up the box through about 20 layers of moisture proofing, and there was just like an ancient printed circuit board looking thing with a smashed valve on it. There was an emergency emitters from a plane. When the plane goes for a smash, this thing pops out of the wing, and if it doesn't smash on the ground, it starts bleeping things out around about 40 megs.
Really? And you paid 7 and 6 for it?
Well, in those days it was quite modern,
With a smash valve, though?
Yeah.
Well, that's... but still.
Smashed valve is some ancient, some battery 1i, 3v4 or something,
Oh, yes. Some valves will run on 22 volts or something. Quite good.
Yeah, there were.
It'd be interesting to play around with them.
Valves that ran on a low tension around about that for hearing aids and walkie-talkies and things.
Yes, I'd like to play with some of them.
They might be better than these solid-state things.
Well, you never know. Just like FETs.
The number 10 set's got some of those valves in it.
Really?
But the ordinary 90-volt battery valves are pretty hopeless. You touch them and the filaments will just go for a smash.
Yeah. Pity. I once went and bought a whole lot of batteries for running valves off. These sort of square-type batteries with lots of little screw-down terminals on the top.
Oh, yes.
And you were meant to stack lots of them together and make hundreds of volts.
How many volts did you get?
Oh, well, in those days I didn't have anything to measure with it. I had this vague idea of making Jacob's ladder.
With batteries.
But, well, Markovich was young in those days. He still is, but... But anyway, well, it was just one of my many little projects which naturally fell through.
Now that you're old and mature...
I just don't try those things anymore. Well, no. I'm still playing around, in fact, I'm trying to...
If you become very intelligent and very technical...
How do you do that? You must tell me how you become...
You have to learn from the master of technical innovation.
Who?
Well, you know who the master of technical innovation is.
Well...
Who's the man who can fix everything? He's never got a soldering iron out of his hand, and...
Soldering iron out of his hand?
This is all tongue-in-cheek, mind you.
Wow, I've got tongue-in-cheek.
Yes,
it's very hard to talk tongue-in-cheek.
You'll win the Beck Award of Technical Innovation.
What? That's the bogey prize.
But you've got to know the right way to stack all your equipment so it falls over when someone walks in the door.
You can't find anything any of the time.
How to blow up and wreck equipment that people have lent you.
Ooh.
I just want the Beck to hear this and replay a slight hint for him, you see.
Well, I don't know why he hasn't fixed the Kaikuta.
Well, it might cost money, you see.
He's got to go and buy the thing and screw it in.
Well, yes, can you tell me exactly what you did? You see, to get nice fire on that thing, I've made a tap going to the little Varactor diode in this 22S.
Yeah.
And apparently I have all sorts of bad impedance mismatching and things. Everything just sounds distorted.
Well, with mine, I just got it going to mine is direct FM.
Have you got a capacitor in there, Markovich?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's going restored.
Does all sorts of horrible things.
Well, I just nicked it. It doesn't really matter what pedance, as long as you don't overdrive it or you have enough to drive it. Like it's isolated for DC via capacitors. You just stuff things in until it goes restored, then turn it down a bit.
As long as you've got a low pedance feeding your Varactor.
It should be. I just can't make it. I don't know.
Don't try to match it. It should just be a voltage source.
If you're a cast engineer, you'd have to match it and get a perfect pedance match.
That's right.
Otherwise, it won't work. It'll blow up.
That's right.
And you'll get electrocuted and
you'll fail.
Talking about exams, these technical exams. Listen to this. Here's another one. Let's buy an argument. November 57.
Ooh, modern.
Talking about DC coupled amplifiers. It says, way back in September 1950, 7 years ago, we started these columns with an outburst about direct coupling. This is just the heading, right?
Yeah.
Now, in 1950 it was direct coupling in audio amps. In 1957, of course, now we're up with it, it's direct coupling in video systems. Right, and strangely enough, we're temporarily on the same side of the fence. But let me tell you a sad, sad story. A few weeks ago, a certain training establishment, which had best remain nameless...
RMIT?
It's probably...
Or the telecoms technical school there in Toorak.
Monash University's more likely.
But that was a farm then.
That's right. set an examination question for the students which read something like this, quote, sketch the circuit of a video amplifier from detector to picture tube, including compensating circuits and brightness control. Show the composite signal oscillographs you would see at the input and output. That was the question. Now, a number of students sailed right in and sketched our circuits from the RTVNH 17-inch receiver.
Oh.
That's back in the days when they used to make circuits of sievers, which was quite good.
yes.
They haven't made any colour sievers, have they?
No, a bit plex,
Yeah,
but still,
anyway.
will be taining.
It was fresh in their minds because some of them at least were building the set. Did they get full marks?
No.
No, sir, they did not. They were docked because they showed an AC coupled video amplifier without DC restoration.
They're silly.
He's got... Now come, Mr. Examiner. What possible grounds could you have for adopting such an attitude? I fear you might have great difficulty in justifying it. Can it be that you believe AC coupling to be an impractical scheme? One that won't work?
Well, it'll work, but...
I can assure you that it works very well indeed in our 17-inch receiver.
That's right.
AC coupling is pretty house, though.
It is pretty house.
It is.
You turn up the brightness, it just goes for a, like that, a limiter in a video
The
line.
point was, though, the question didn't say anything about whether it should be AC or
It
DC.
just said a
or
video circuit.
just in
Yeah.
a video circuit.
Yeah, with DC
And
restoration.
They all lost marks because they... Mr. Williams, poor Mr. Williams,
Mr. Williams probably got
all these planes
rocks in his window. All these failed
Through his
telecom nitions or PMG nitions were going for a spew.
That's right.
They didn't pass the Silvers exam.
Oh, here's what we've been looking for.
Ooh.
Here's your answer, Tom.
And so, that was hilarious. So castic.
Yes. Question. Would a licence be required for a small, low-powered, one-valve Morse code transmitter
No.
capable of transmitting on the 1.8 megacycle, 3.5 megacycle and 7 megacycle band? I would like to use it to talk to my mate down the street. Answer. The chain of events would go something like this. We would publish a simple and inexpensive little mitter. You would worry the life out of your mum and dad until you managed to buy all the parts. I've got a picture of a guy sitting here with a ball chain in a jail.
About a 2-year-old looking through the jail wall.
Yeah, hasn't even grown any hair. Maybe you would get by with a few substitute bits and pieces from an old set and use the coils instead of the ones we'd specified.
That's right, and who knows where it comes out.
Then you'd go on the air, and with a bit of luck, your mate down the road would hear you, but so would a lot of other people in the district.
On their televisions.
At first they might be amused and tolerant, but after that they would get so mad at the chatter, the whistles, the buzzers, that someone would write to the authorities.
The Silvers, man.
Sooner or later the Silvers would come with a direction finding outfit,
Yes.
and ultimately they would knock on your door. There would be a court case, a fine, and a lot of nasty goings-on which would take all the fun out of radio for a long time to come. And we're not kidding either, Tom. It's happened several times. There's only one way you can legally operate your own emitters, and that's to get your AOCP certificate, better known as your ham ticket, and set up your own emitters.
And then you can do bad things.
Yes, legally.
That's right.
Don't you just fear with everybody? It doesn't matter.
That's right.
A license to fear.
That's right.
Here's a good one.
Play around.
That's hilarious, that though, isn't it?
Would you please explain why a 6-volt battery has so much less power than a 6-volt accumulator?
Yeah.
The apparent difference seems to contradict Ohm's law, which says that the current is proportional only to the voltage and resistance.
Resistance. Well, the IR.
We agree with you, Tom. There is an apparent contradiction in the statement of the law. I suppose it goes on to internal. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Battery resistance.
That's right. Which basically means
Well, it's not a
you
pure voltage or
accidentally-
current source, is it?
No, you accidentally short your kneecaps and they go zot.
Here's one last one.
Yes.
Please do not laugh at me.
Listen to the branch.
Yes.
We need the Q Long's laugh.
Yes. Please do not laugh at me, but is there such a thing as a sausage tenors?
Like a beer can tennis, alright?
We assure you, Tom, we have no cause to laugh at you. It's spelled L-A-U-G-H-T. No cause to laugh at you. For humorous as the term may seem,
Sausage
it actually is an aerial and is synonymous to the cage tenors. This type of tenors is characterised by high zapidance and low resistance. It consists of a number of Lowell conductors spaced in cylindrical fashion and supported by hoops. Elaborate tenors like this were fairly common in the late 20s,
They radiate equally poorly in all directions.
but experience showing, such as they fell down all the time, that an advantage they had was so slight that the placation was not justified.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Just interesting to
That one about the little kid doing emitters is funny. They ought to have a tom section now.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a modern Seavers.
There was something in one of the other ones where they had this complete outside broadcast TV emitting thing built into a Cadillac.
Yeah.
It had this giant thing that looked like about a 28-inch Seavers sitting on one side of the car with Velvies poking out of it.
Oh, look, that's the old guy who went for...
Yeah, John Moyle.
Moyle. They have a field day for him, don't they?
Yeah, he was good.
You used to have photographs of him stuck all over your shack, I remember, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one on the door of the that cupboard out there, I think.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, look, kids with mitters. I've been wondering, the J mitters.
It's amazing they haven't got more popular.
Well, look, they advertise it as a 5-watt mitters.
Even though it's about a 0.05 watt mitters.
That's right. I mean, they tell you in the instructions 0.3 watt maximum.
Yeah.
They advertise it as 5 watt. I've got the little instructions here, actually. The last thing they say on it is a transmitting license is necessary when using the HF65 as a transmitter.
The trouble with those HF65s, they are super unstable.
They just drift a lot.
Unless you have a good AFC, it just goes for a drift.
That's right. You have to keep tuning. Yeah.
Oh. Is that the
still,
Josty?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Where did it get the name Josty from?
That's the people who make it,
The name
Josty.
of it.
Oh.
Where did they say somewhere? Oh, I think on the card they say a PMG license is required.
Old Neville Williams has certainly been around for a while. I bet he's a storehouse of information.
It's incredible. Like they send in stuff to do with some subtlety of physics where he's put his foot in it,
Yeah.
talking about beta particles or something.
Yeah.
He just comes straight back and...
Oh, but I mean, that's the way it seems. He must...
Oh,
race
obviously
off
he'd
the
go and-
library and go,
yeah,
go
obviously.
For a ring.
I think he should have a talkback show
That
on
would be very
160.
telling.
People would ring up
Find
and
out.
ask him questions,
Yes,
technical questions.
But he'd
and-
probably be going,
And he'd have his
I'll write back in a month.
That's right. He'd have
And
his
he-
little dictionaries, encyclopedias...
and he'd be
sitting there
playing devotional recordings between the
while he
callers.
looks things up.
Yes.
Yeah. Look,
Yes.
he's probably just a fictitious character anyway. It's just this committee which keeps changing.
Yes, they just have this identity kit, and I said, "Oh well, look, that picture will make him the Williams."
He has to look straighter than that, and more intelligent, so give him glasses.
Yeah, make him look a super straight, intelligent, conservative man.
They have the Neville Williams office or something. And they have all these books.
Oh look, you can join.
Oh, join the ABC.
Oh,
Oh, senior technicians,
join now.
£1,071 to £1,131 per
And
annum.
if you're overweight, well, just get chucked out.
That's right.
Join the ABC and see the world. Well,
Oh, look at
on the
this.
visions.
Melbourne's new audio centre opened at 783 Huntley Road, Huntley.
Really?
Phone UL 1038.
Give it things.
What's it called? Hang on.
Theobald's.
I'm just trying to think what it's called. It's sponsored by the Victorian Tele Service. Gee, it couldn't have lasted long. Yeah. Oh well.
Had a few old.
That was back in the days when John Moyle used to do the chord views.
Oh yeah,
Oh, look at these microphones.
so modern looking, aren't they?
Yes, get your AWA Reslo AWA Ronet microphone.
It is a laugh looking at old things, but really it makes you realise in 10 years all the
How
equipment
things
we've got
change.
now
People
are
laugh.
just going to be archaic.
Yes.
It's unimaginable.
Well, I mean,
to
even
work
even
out.
some of these X bands that are 4 years old, you feel embarrassed about playing.
You
them.
do, because the
Like
technical
that one
things.
tonight. I
Yeah,
was playing one with Matt.
that's that one about being in Shepparton. I just went past Shepparton. Is that why the tenants are all glowing red hot
Yes, that's the one.
and all the
And
lights around were
going
dimmed?
for dim. That was good actually. It's ringing the ABC. SEC, sorry.
It's funny how they're always fairly rude to people back in the back of the thing in the answers to pondents.
Yes, that's right.
Very short with them.
As if, look, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might as well just go and give up and
Tuttle.
yeah.
Oh, here's a Chris Long of some place submitted an article on the construction of wooden gramophone needles, which he claims to have several advantages over other types.
They're easy to make. They cost nothing.
He's now in the funny farm with the Oracle man.
Many thanks
Yes.
for your letter, CL, and the details you supply. This subject was dealt with quite extensively in the magazine some years ago, and the relative merits of various types of needles were discussed.
What about wooden needles?
Modern microgroove records wouldn't particularly like wooden needles.
That's right.
Was
A
it
fire hazard like Red Rattlers.
If they got stuck in the groove, they'd burn.
That's right, there's all this smoke coming up off the record. They catch on fire and sort of burn up your toner.
Particularly those plastic ornate tone arms used to have. They just go for a melt.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
burn.
Actually, how do records burn? I've never burnt a record.
I don't think I have either.
I've melted quite a few,
I've
but
seen one go for a total melt.
you leave them in the back of a car.
Yes.
You
I've
leave-
put a few in hot water and made flowers out of them.
Like I did, the Long lent me all these historical chords,
Yeah.
and they were left in the car and went for a melt.
No.
You
Would
see,
have spewed.
they're all these hop harrigans.
Oh, really? Big ones.
Yeah.
Here's another intelligent. Here's a really intelligent one. This one. SP of Warramo, New South Wales, has connected a Philips disc jockey to a portable set, which was provided with a pair of terminals.
And he's got a Philips disc jockey.
SP is surprised to find that the volume with the new pickup is barely audible. While using an old style mag pickup, there was plenty of sound output. He asks our advice on how to increase the vols. But you have not indicated as to where and how you have adapted the pickup terminal on the portable and the difference. Secondly, the output of the crystal pickup may be much less. Oh, that's pretty boring.
Maybe the disc jockey wanted extra wages and went on strike.
Quite possibly.
It's about the size of that one.
Did you watch the last O missions tonight?
No, what was it like?
Well, it was quite good. It was set in the funny farm.
Was
Now-
he sent to the funny farm?
He sent himself to the funny farm. I don't know how he went there.
I saw last week's, which was most taining, when he went mad on air.
That's right. And they left him on, but, well, we don't know about that.
And I had this week's cording as I was driving down.
Really? Well,
So I'll
do you
see
want
when
me
I
to
get
tell you
back.
about it or not?
No, I'll wait till I get back. I hope the
That's a
tape
good
hasn't
idea.
gone for a wrap around the head and smashed
It'll be
$1,000
going
worth
for
of
a flap
head.
until Thursday.
God, that's what I was worried about.
Is it a cartridge or a tape?
Yeah, cartridge.
Oh, that's all
What
right.
if it breaks? I suppose they don't.
Well, look, the spots are $30 each. They should be made well
I
enough not to
hope
wreck.
so. Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be foolproof for any fool to work.
Yeah, but, well.
Did you see last week's when the technicians came round to pull the plug out in the
And he's
switch
looking
room?
at the distortions analyzer, and it's reading sort of 1 volt RMS or
Look,
something.
because I did slow downs and stops and that to have a look.
That'd be so good to
And
be able to
he was
do
plugging things in out of the headphone monitor jack to pull the Oracle off air.
And you were going backwards and forwards.
that.
And he was switching the range switch on the noise and distortion meter. What for, I don't know.
What a laugh. I took a few photos tonight off the visions.
Was there anything on air in there?
Yeah, there was a bit,
Yeah.
but I won't sort of give it away or anything. So,
Yeah.
that's not me giving fees.
No.
So the Oracle really went round the bend, did he?
He went. No, sorry, that's not very good one. That's better.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, I won't tell you what happened.
Metal type, didn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
High pressure sales.
Very typical, sort of, as a bit like the mouse, really.
I recorded the characters portrayed, blah blah. I took a photo of that.
Ah,
I
yes.
thought that was a laugh.
Photos.
Yeah, I just take photos of the vision.
Sort of thing.
Really, yeah. It doesn't matter anyway. The point was we had some fun sort of trying to work out what happened.
Yeah.
That's the whole laugh of it anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can find the shut up. I've got it here somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, that
I was going to do 8mm dubs of him saying "shut up."
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a tape. I've just got so many idiot tapes.
I tried doing dubs on the buyer, actually.
Yeah.
Video dubs. I told you about that, didn't I?
Well, I've heard it mentioned somewhere,
Yeah.
and you couldn't see anything.
No, you can see it.
Really.
It's just that the definition is very lacking,
I would
and you
think
need
so.
great imagination to make
That's
it.
right. Yes.
Did you just put it through the standard equaliser and everything?
I just shoved video out into the bridge input of the buyer, made the buyer chord on fast forward.
What a laugh.
If
It still only goes to 20k because
Did
of
you
the
get any
amps.
sync at all?
you fed it straight into the head, you might have got something.
Yeah. Well, this way, when you play it back on fast forward for about half a second while everything's in sync on a test pattern, you do see a vague round spot on the screen going for a shimmer.
Really?
It does work, basically, yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
And even at 15, you get enough to sort of lock the thing in, but you don't get any visions.
I wonder what it'd happen if you just chorded it at 7.5 on a chord as it goes to 25k.
You probably get,
You'd probably get the same effect.
yeah, you probably get like as good as a long 30-line TV system.
Yeah.
1 or 2 lines of
Because
definition.
you get your sync pulses,
Yeah, if
they'd come through.
you only need to go up to, what, 16k for that.
Yeah.
Why not try it?
So
Yeah.
it'd
That's an
trigger,
interesting idea.
it'd trigger the sweeps off quite well.
Yeah.
You could square them up on playback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to have tried it, but, well.
What a laugh.
I also tried recording RF too, directly onto the quarters.
Oh, yes, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The broadcast band.
Yeah.
What happened there?
It does work, but there's superference from the switching of the heads.
Type thing.
Well,
This is on your video recorders
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sweeps, of course, just go for a wreck.
You sort of get funny carriers and things.
You can tune around and...
Yeah, you can, but only the super strong stations can be corded because there's so much noise and rubbish on the tape.
Yeah, because they rely on the head switching.
Well, did you read in whatever it is, EA, there's some fixed head recorder now,
Really?
which has one band of tape, one big loop of tape, that
Yes.
spins around super fast. Now, theoretically, you could do it with that sort of system, because it isn't wiping the tape.
True.
What do they do? Go across the tape?
I think it must sort of move down and make a big sort of spiral right down the
Yeah,
loop.
instead of the head moving fast, the tape moves fast.
That's right.
It's a bit impractical, really, isn't it?
It seems so. I would think so.
Oh, no, that should work,
Well,
because
something must be wiping the tape a
you'd
lot.
zip through in about 3 minutes and they could switch to another track.
Yeah, well, that's what it does. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
sort of
I think
just
it's
a
gradually
very
moving.
slow helical, I
Well,
suppose.
that'd be good, because then you could record RF and,
Well, that's
Yeah.
right. You
Mission
see,
be
Yeah.
continuous.
tenuous
could get-
missions.
up to however many megs it is. It's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be good to do just to sort of stash away.
You just record every year, record parts of the cast band at
That's
New Year's
right.
Eve.
Yeah. See, Beck's been doing that sort of thing, just recording. Well, he used to record music, and he says he listens back, but now he just records announcements.
Yeah.
That sort of thing's really good to listen back to.
You can listen back to them later and hear this young Beck going,
Well, yeah,
3MP committed to caring.
I've made a few recordings of Beck just for that.
It was rather hilarious the other night, listening to the Beck in one Seavers doing cross bands and the other Seavers stuffing up chords and things. When those chords getting changed, he wasn't coming out of the cross bands.
That's right.
Yeah.
But this is 1973. He wasn't, well,
Yeah, he's not there yet.
no.
Oh, that's right.
We're still talking about Neville
perhaps
Williams.
Perhaps one day when...
He'll climb out of his cupboard, rip off branch cupboard, and
Yeah.
might get a job doing missions.
His little
but you
phone
never know.
booth.
You never... Yes, that's right. Direct link to wherever it is. I forget what that says. Yeah. Of course, Beck's room is quite clean now.
What happened to it?
No, I mean, now...
To
Beck's-
catch fire.
now-
Oh, yes, because he hasn't got much equipment.
That's right. Well,
Just
you
that,
don't know.
that
You
little
can see-
Seavers he
you
bought
can
from
see-
the cock.
You can see he's going to buy a range of Seavers. Gleam in
What's
his
happened to
eye.
all his equipment?
No, in
Well, he hasn't bought it yet.
1973 he hasn't
that's
got many
right. Oh,
equipment.
yes.
But I think he wants it.
Sorry.
If he came into money...
The branch
he
just had a
might
time warp.
Yes.
buy it. That's right.
I switched tracks.
That's it. Down the helix. Yes. You are a good one for seeing the future there.
It is fusing listening to these old replays. You don't know where you are.
I know. I mean, I
And-
hate to admit that I'm a replay.
And you don't really realise how things have changed either.
Mm.
Like, different people are doing different things and talking about different things and different politics.
In
And
fact, it's quite annoying listening for the first half hour and you can't work out what era it's from.
that's right, yes.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't
Get
know.
your brain in sync.
Yeah,
Sort of lock in.
you've
And
got to wait for crucial comments to be dropped.
That's right.
that's right. And yes, I must admit when certain things come on, and I'm never sure, I have to come and listen on too just to check.
Just to see if it's live.
And well, if you listen, you do hear things like politics and who's
Yeah.
doing what, and you go, righto.
Ah,
And you sit back and relaxedly listen.
yeah.
You know, you're not missing out on the live fun. It's a real recorded...
Well, that's right. Yes. Anyway,
We'll have to think of some decent OBs to do for the Christmas holidays, apart from going into the old park.
look, unfortunately, I heard that the rotor has been removed.
Why?
Oh, dear.
I don't know. I've had a long-standing desire to interview someone on the rotor.
Why?
While they're spewing...
Well, partly that. I've always wanted to do it on film. Have the camera person locked against one wall,
And the other
and the
person...
person you're interviewing and
On
me
the
on the
other
other
wall.
wall.
That'd
And
be-
you sort of pull the microphone off the wall and then go bash onto their chest and ask them questions and things.
I have seen people in the rotor while on TV, like they've obviously taken a camera down there.
Oh, have you? Oh,
Yeah, it
that's
looks quite
exciting.
tiny. It actually, all it looks like is somebody across the room stuck to
on
a
the
wall.
wall,
Because there's no actual movement, of course.
That's the
Yeah.
entertaining thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd love to. We could do it on an OB or something.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a good Ductions and have...
You want to make
people in-
a super well-designed Duction FM cast mitters for OBs.
You will have to get our...
About super stable 10-watt mitters.
the 2 metre rig will have to have a proper audio patch. Your Kaikutu would be ideal.
Well, actually, yeah, if the Beck ever fixes it, which he won't.
Well, yeah.
Or we
it's
can
just
fix
sitting
it.
there.
Yeah, if that gets fixed, that could be used.
Oh,
But the other way doesn't quite work.
Back in 1973.
Wind the tape back quick. Getting a bit much now.
Oh, this is
No, 'cause
1973.
I mean, he is quite good. He does lean stuff.
He does. Like,
Some of his prized possessions. Actually, I still owe the Beck 2 cords. I melted 2 of his cords.
how did he melt his cords?
A Spike Jones and a... actually, they were quite valuable cords. A Spike Jones and the one with the typewriter on it.
Oh,
Did you melt
one.
that?
Yes.
What happened? Did you leave it at the stove?
I borrowed it for the missions to do on all-nighter at the
Oh, yeah.
red tenors.
Oh, yeah.
And I had it all sitting... They were all sitting there with my cords.
Yeah.
2 of mine got melted too, but still. And this is back in summer.
And it was on the panel, and the panel got hot.
No, it was just in the car.
Oh.
I was just listening to the Tasmanian Devils and typewriter missions today, actually.
How did you get a copy of Manian Devils?
Well, actually, Stu, remember you gave me that tape of yours?
Me?
Yeah.
Did I? Huh.
To give to Beck,
Oh, yeah.
which, well, he keeps coming around here, and I've just been playing it on my wrecked M8, and so he never takes it away. Anyway, I did a dub of it.
Oh, an M8.
It's
What's
really
an M8?
It'd be after the M7.
Kai quarters. I guess it would be. Yeah.
Well, Rollador got himself
yeah.
an M7 a few weeks ago.
Really?
Is that good?
Well, the heads are wrecked. They
Yeah.
need refacing, but they're quite a
Mine's
reasonable...
wrecked. It won't record.
Well, it's probably the same thing. The head's probably wrecked. Or you
It
mean
won't erase either.
it won't record at all?
Looks like the bias oscillator
Oh,
Oh,
was
it's
cut
sort
off.
of... Yeah, it could be bias oscillator. I'm going to have to pull it apart and see if there's any dead-looking valves.
Send it to the Beck, he'll fix it.
He'll sort of have any conscience and try and improve the missions.
No, we're going for a crackle. What's going on?
Well, he'll play all his tapes on there. All his tapes we haven't heard very often.
What was that going for a crackle?
Is that me?
Don't know.
It doesn't sound like RF noise. It almost sounds like an audio stage tuttling.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think he'd be quite qualified. He's got the technical capacity and the
guess he
skill
has, yeah.
in building emitters.
Yeah, this is perfectly true.
And
Can I go on low power? Hang on.
You see what happens if you do.
Hello, no
his
noise.
mission.
That's interesting, because you're quite...
When were we talking about that? That was... Oh, that
2 nights ago,
Yeah,
after the Beatty missions.
that's right. Just seems like a dream now.
It was hopefully a bad dream that hasn't been corded.
Well, it has.
Oh no!
Drag.
Oh, no.
What a pity.
I've certainly knocked plenty of people tonight.
You've had a good session tonight. And,
Anybody listening who has knocked, just don't take notice because I just knock.
Please, he
It's
doesn't.
just my.
He doesn't really mean what he says.
No,
okay?
I just say what I mean. What do you mean? What is?
The men are going to come and take him away pretty soon.
Actually, I was listening to one of the... Well, I think it was the third crossband between the Stew and the Beck, since the Stew's been at Griffith.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I was listening to it this afternoon, and, well, I just couldn't make it. There's all these references to the telegram man,
Oh,
and the little man, the man who's not very big, and all that sort of thing. You just don't know what's going on.
when was this?
That was back in about March or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's the nullities up there that really haven't been exposed much down here, you see.
That's right.
Yeah.
New nullities, new names.
But it's still fun to listen to, I suppose.
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Well, just hearing all these silly names is quite good.
It is good to get back and be able to speak silly with people, you see.
Yeah. It is good to have some silly talk going on.
You can't really do that with normal people.
That was right. It was quite tainting last night, or no, was it 2 nights ago?
Yes.
Listening to the reaction of all these G's when they came across it.
Yes.
Yes, Markovic?
I don't smoke, I'm just lighting matches.
Oh, fair enough.
He just likes to make it sound like.
Yeah, just for testing presses.
Yes.
That's right. Sort of test noise number 543A or something.
You
Lighting
should-
a match.
You'll have to finish building up that sound effects generator.
Yes.
I will, yeah, I just have to buy lots of pots for it,
Yeah,
really.
it'd be excellent for testing limiters.
You can imagine
Dual Space War game,
a-
noises and things.
a limiter factory, and there's just a whole box full of burnt matches. You just go and test the limbs with the matches. No, that's no good. The limiter burnt. He puts it.
No. Works for a burn.
Yeah.
And I'll just duck outside and give
Yeah.
everything a proper tune. Back out tick.
This is the first time I've done a live missions from the branch. You know, it's over a year, well over a year.
Yeah. It's
When-
good to hear you in fire.
How long have you been doing listens? How long?
Well,
I've asked you this question before, but my memory's tuttled.
yeah, I have listened years ago,
But you couldn't
but I
make
couldn't
it.
make of it. And also, I didn't know to listen in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
I can remember, see, I've got a little, you're just filing your nails, are
yeah.
you?
No, my teeth.
You're filing your plywood teeth. I've got a little Panasonic 8, and I looked up in encyclopedias about amateur radio, and I saw that there was an amateur band on the top of the medium wave band.
Oh, yes.
So I found the local oscillator in my Panasonic 8,
Did tweaks.
did tweaks, and well, I listened a few times, never heard anything apart from a bit of CW, couldn't make
Yeah.
it that, of course. One morning, I got up, and I heard what I thought were goon show spots,
Oh, yeah.
or something, and couldn't make of it, and thought it was entertaining, and ran around the house, because it was bash strength here.
Yes.
But couldn't make of it, and Fish just sort of looked at me and said, must be cross-mod effect, so, but they just thought the receiver was wrecked or something.
Yeah.
So that was about it until really the beginning of last year.
Really? Well, you've
Okay.
certainly progressed quite a bit. You almost got your
Sounds
Your-
quite echoey.
proficiency degree in missions, haven't you? At such
What
a
a
short
denigram.
time. Yeah, no, that's the supreme.
Oh,
Actually, the denigram is sort of
it's not a denigram.
is sort of like a because you don't get denigrams now. He's in a different
I
department.
wonder what grams you get.
Probably crograms. I don't really know. Program.
He hasn't taken it through. He must be working, saving up for it. But yes, well, anyway, so I sort of turned up at Nash last year and met all the analities, and people like the Q lent me lots of tapes and said, you must listen to all these.
How
Which
much?
I did.
What do you think the market is for people who might be tamed by crossbands?
Well,
Fairly minor proportion of the society, really. I think,
I'm afraid so.
like about 0.010 to the minus 60%.
Not quite. But I think they've sort of got to be sort of dedicated idiots.
Dedicated idiots, yeah. Because it takes so
Because-
long to learn it.
Unless, you've either got to persevere with it and listen for ages and sort of pick things up so you work out what's going on, or you've got to meet the nullities
Yeah.
and so you find out what's going on that way.
Of course, a lot of people who just never take, like, they might know some of the nullities well, but they just don't really consider doing missions particularly good fun.
I just like missions for the fun of missions. I
Mm.
just think it's magic, in a way.
I used to.
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, things like, I turn on my little J emitters, or I've made a few on 6 meters and things. Hello. And just the idea this one transistor can do missions around the place. There are other missions going on. Anyway, it's magic and it's so fun to play with.
Could you identify yourself, please?
This is VK Eccles working crossband.
Is it the Cumes?
Hey?
Hello?
Hello? What's going on? We're listening on Kerr missions, are we? Hang on, I think my pips are coming up.
Strange. Oh, he's not here.
What?
There's very strange things coming to this telephonic device.
Telephonic. Oh, I see, you got a ting. Bad tings are going on.
Hello? There's something very strange here.
On the ting machine.
Put the
I don't know if
headphones
he
on.
should actually. It might be a bit bad.
Bad things
Listen
could
to it
happen.
first, listen to it.
Rollador put on a tape last night, which had your...
It's not
yourself-
anyone we know, I don't think.
Pardon?
It's silly missions.
We'll find out anyway.
Yes.
Won't that disconnect the phone?
Not for 90 seconds.
That's right. And it was of you, Dave, getting continuous tings one night.
What was this?
The Rollador played a tape last night.
Oh, yeah, I heard that, yes. I hope... Well,
Whoever was responsible at the time.
yes. We're going to have patches.
Righto. Now, what do you do? Do you actually disconnect the phone, or do you use a 600 ohm load?
I've got a
or something?
little magnetic
Oh, one of those.
device here.
Oh, that's fine.
So I'll just do patches.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still there?
I don't know, hang on.
Also
Which
check.
channel's patch on? Patch will be on channel, whatever it is, the spare one.
How many channels have you got?
Oh, the mixer's only got 3.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about another type of channel here. Oh, that's already patched. That's alright. You just put it straight in. Oh, it's already in. Right, now what have we got here? Until we listen to the line. It's gone dead. Nothing there. Oh, no, we're on the wrong channel.
Please be patient, whoever's doing silly missions.
Yes.
The switch room is its usual state.
Whoops. Right, let's try that.
We really do want to listen to this. Ah,
Are they there?
what
Well,
a pity.
just had band noise.
They,
Noise.
they might try again. Hopefully
Try again.
not.
Right.
The number you have dialed.
Will it still give tings with that connected through?
Yeah,
Oh, because it's passively
Yeah.
coupled.
transformer just goes for a jump.
Yes.
You megavolt out of the
You can
transformer.
hear it go.
It's going over to 20k or something.
100 volts gets stepped up by 10.
Zap, zap. You see the first valve of the mixer, the zap, zap.
You know when somebody's ringing, you see all these bolts of light
Flashing with
across
rings.
the shack.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we
Well.
can take our next call now, thank you.
Take a
Hello.
next call.
Hello, you're next.
Dial now.
So
Whatever
we're
the
not
number
going to give the phone number out, not many people know it.
We have tended to have become a little bit intelligent since
Yeah.
the days of tizing our numbers.
Yes.
That's right, yes, I always wondered about that. Try to keep things in the dark.
I'd keep them in the dark as much as possible.
That's right. I'll just look the number up.
Where
I
were
don't know.
we?
I don't know if I've got it.
Gee, that heater, I think that heater can go off, it's like summer.
Yeah.
What is it
Well, I
about?
like summer, don't you? I wish you'd come again.
578 37. No. No, I don't think I have got branch number. That's lucky.
No. It was
Summer, yes, well, it's been such house weather lately.
Oh, I love the summer. Like, I didn't like the heat when it was high had heat, but I think it's better, preferable to this cool.
It's so bad, you're wandering around, it's just completely drab and depressing, and you wake up and it's raining and you just
That's
feel
right.
like just lying there.
If I might be able to get a big job being nullity somewhere hot.
How hot? I thought it was hot up in G-Land.
It's only hot for part of the year, but somewhere where it's hot.
You want
all
hot
year.
and not humid.
Yeah, that is hard to find, hot all year and not humid.
Yeah, that's right, humidity is such a factor. It's just-
If I lived in a hot, humid place, I'd have to buy a proper conditioner.
oh, definitely.
Otherwise, you just go for a wreck.
That's sort of first priority, I think. So
Yeah.
that you can escape somewhere if you want.
Yeah, even if it costs money to run and buy,
That's
but you
right.
you
you
just
starve
have to
to
have
death,
it.
but at least you'll be cool
Yeah,
and comfortable.
yeah. So it
Although,
means
you get used to it.
you do, but you still need your sleep at night.
Yes, that's right. Well, I lived in New Guinea for sort of 3 weeks
Really?
at one stage, and with no auditioning when lived in a village type thing.
It would have been hell.
It was for about the first week and a half, and I was just wrecked, and I was constantly wrecked
Yeah.
because I couldn't sleep, and mosquitoes buzzing around, and well, you sleep under nets, but they still get in.
Yeah, they
It's
get them
wrecked.
through the net.
But you sort of get used to it. And then after the third week, I went to come back, and certain New Guinea Airways, Air New Guinea,
Yeah.
mucked up bookings.
Air New Guinea.
That's right. So they put me up in a super luxe hotel for the night,
Yeah.
and they took me in a bus, and they took me to the foyer, and the doors opened, and this blast of freezing cold air hit me. I sort of went in and froze, and gradually got used to it.
Yeah.
And you just adjust to the heat and humidity.
Well, I really love the super hot but dry days. You just go out, you get a super.
So good.
You
And
go for super brown.
that's right, and you can feel it sort of absorbing.
You feel like a
skin.
toast in a toaster.
That's right.
You just
then-
absorb this beautiful heat,
yeah, well,
and
we
you can
had
go
a
and
few
suck
days
lots
like
of drinks without going for a full.
Actually, we went up to Alice Springs once, and in the heat up there, it's
Yeah.
very dry.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is really beautiful.
It is,
Like,
yeah.
we just walked along this long road for miles and
I
miles.
love it in the desert, and you just
Yeah,
toast.
the sun is just sort of beating down, and it was
Yeah.
about 115
So
degrees.
good.
And it
That's just quite pleasant.
And your digital watch goes all black.
yes. But it was pleasant because you could, I mean, the sweat sort of cooled you down because it
That's
wasn't
right,
humid.
because there's a slight breeze or something.
Yeah, those sort of heat places are good. I wouldn't mind working in Alice Springs, actually, but there's not much up there.
Yeah, and it's so credible. You sort of look at the temperature and it's 120 or something, and you go, "Well, gosh, it doesn't feel like that
It's like that in Melbourne, you go for a dead.
Yeah,
because it's so humid."
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. The sweat just sits on you, and you.
That's right, and you go to low intelligence mode.
Yes.
Darwin must be a hell of a place to live.
Like all those people in VK4, low intelligence mode.
Yeah, very low.
Because of the heat, they just can't think straight.
Well, it's an interesting effect, isn't it, that people in sort of tropical areas
Yeah, well,
seem
it's,
to have
it's
developed.
definitely been shown that very few, you know,
The cooler climates seem to promote.
Oh, activity.
yeah,
They have
intellectual
to be
activity.
intelligent so they can make heating equipment and things, shelter.
Yes.
Whereas in hot places, they just sort of roam around in the jungle.
Yeah.
Let's do what?
Like roam around in the jungle, like in VK4.
Oh, yeah.
Arresting people for going on a march to do their shopping.
That's right.
Yes,
Wearing badges.
they bungle in the jungle.
People write songs about that.
Bungle in the concrete jungle.
That's right.
Peanut Joe.
Well, yes. Keeps.
Let's not get political.
Yeah.
Well,
Again.
incidentally, if anyone wants to buy any tape, we've got a new brand of tape available now.
Little
Yes.
tape.
Yeah, it's Super Ampex.
Red tape.
No, it's Ampex.
Oh, yes.
The 642.
This is the branch tape sales retail
Yes.
department.
Yeah, I hear in business, it seems.
It's halfway between the standard PEX and the mastering tape.
Mm.
It's very good stuff.
You recommend it.
Yeah. Of course I'd recommend it. I'm trying to sell it.
You make a good salesman.
Would I?
No, I think you make a lousy salesman.
I'm going to put some of the tea paste anyway.
Yeah. But at least their rates are rather cheap, aren't they?
Yes.
So you
Why
should-
don't you get spots on commercial radio to sell your tape?
You don't need to. You just put it in the tea paste and it
Get
goes
more race
fairly
ratings.
quickly.
You have superduction things. Is your tape letting you down? Have superduction echo. Down, 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 down.
Yeah.
Buy branch tape today. Super discount. Various varieties at your branch supermarket.
Yes, with a frequency response from 3 hertz to 50 kilohertz.
Are you getting noise in your recording?
In the background.
That's hilarious.
Brand tape.
That advertisement they have.
Remember that one they had for the cassettes?
Yes.
Yeah. This is the original. Da-da-da-da-da. And here is the same performance replayed on a Scotch 3M something or other cassette.
Yeah.
Have you seen those ridiculous
I've got that
ads
here.
in the paper where they have this simulated picture of a vision screen?
Yeah.
On one side it's all murky newsprint, on the other side it's slightly less murky newsprint.
And it's supposed to be a better screen.
Just proves that some visions was
This is
better
not
than
this
other
new
visions.
rank thing.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's rank.
Yeah. Apparently, they're going to do TV commercials of that as well.
I've seen one, and that equally
But that's
doesn't-
ridiculous. I mean, you're looking at it through an
Doesn't
ordinary
prove a
sievers
thing.
anyhow.
Well, I know it's got stimulated demonstration across the top of the screen.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
All they do is put an opaque glass behind,
Of
you know,
course.
in front of the competitions.
But apparently they have got a screen which is half and half that they've made.
Yes.
They've actually
Well,
constructed it that it's half
Yeah.
the old system
I mean,
and half the new
But when you
system.
see it on
That's
the
not the
normal
point.
TV
Oh,
series,
yes,
it's not going to mean much.
no.
It's like a
I mean,
cassette tape on
advertising-
AM radio.
Yeah.
Advertising pretends to prove something, but it doesn't. They
Yeah.
just show you a murky picture and say, well, this is what you're getting.
But if you're already getting murky, you wouldn't notice it, would you?
That's right. And most people haven't adjusted so badly.
Yeah.
Look, yes, we were talking about, Beck and I were talking about lack of discrimination in viewers this afternoon because, well, you see, I pulled apart our little portable AWA visions
Oh, yes.
to put the UHF in it,
Yes.
and I pulled off the tuner shield and couldn't get it on properly because I didn't have the thing out of its plastic box.
Yes.
Evidently, I sort of put it back as well as I could. Evidently, it's fallen off now that it's been in use for a while.
Yes.
And we're getting all herringbone on the visions.
Oh, yes.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. But no.
Well, thank you for your call. Now I'll take a next
That's
call.
right. Perhaps you should, well, throw out the visions and, well,
Anyhow, you're talking about the bones you got. Feeding your
Well,
dog bones, herring
that's right.
bones from herrings.
We get fish bones, and well, the fish. No one notices. I'm sitting there going, "God, it's true. That's awful. I must pull it apart sometime and fix it."
Yeah.
But no one's done plaints. No one notices.
Things are not worth fixing these days.
That's right. I might
Like
as well just leave
Anna's
it.
little alarm. She's got one of these alarm radios with a little, the timer thing comes down, little flaps. with
Yes,
numbers
the
on it.
flaps.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the other day the flap stopped flapping. The thing still makes noises, but it
At the right time of day.
doesn't go for a flap, and the buzzer doesn't go off. I mean, what do you do?
What's the function of it?
It's an alarm radio.
Oh, just a radio.
But what do you do? You take it along to a radio shop. The thing cost about $23.
It'll
which
cost
is
$20 at least to even look at it.
It's $20 to put it on the counter.
That's right. Deaf Seavers, a flippity-flop clock.
It's the only trouble with these things being super cheap.
The maintenance is rather... Unless you know somebody who can fix it for you for nothing.
What we
So
need is Japanese maintenance as well.
we need little Nippons here
Yes.
to go and fix things.
That's right. All millions of them in a little room.
They can put their little Nippon fingers down the Nippon works, this Nippon equipment.
No, look. Yes. And,
Do Nippon fixes. Say, oh yes, thank you very much, sir. And they bow to you.
many
and
thanks.
many thanks.
That's
Many
50
thanks,
yen,
sir.
Or whatever.
Yes. Pick up
Singapore
your shoes on the
dollar.
way out.
Yes.
Singapore. Yeah, that's right.
Some of my best friends are Japanese.
Yes.
Don't look at me like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they should have Nippon fix-it men. Actually, a lot of this Nippon stuff, say Nippon sievers are less complex than the old ancient Echo valve sievers.
With all
There's less
few
valves in them.
transistors. My EEI receiver's here with sort of 3 transistors in it. VHF and
It is the way to make money, though, doing servicing.
But
well.
And the fact that you've got to pay $20 to just leave it there.
what do people get serviced these days? Really, most equipment is pretty reliable, and apart from colour sievers, that's about the only thing people
And
just throw
televisions
out.
are being modularised anyway.
Yeah.
You just pull out boards, which is really, I mean, that's sensible. They do pewters like that.
Yeah,
It's silly
people
not
will
to.
just throw out Zista sievers,
Yeah.
radio sievers.
Yeah. I suppose if
Even
it-
$100
Well, they do.
sievers, if it's worked for a couple of years and breaks down, they just throw it out.
Because there's all new ones being typed.
Yeah.
yes, they
Yeah.
keep making improvements in inverted commas.
Yeah. Well, things like digital readout and bass and
That's
treble
right.
control. And
They'll be so good, those little thin ones with digital frequency readout.
yes.
They'll be really good. I'd like when a nice AM/FM one with digital frequency readout, which is Sense,
Yeah.
comes out, I might even save up and buy it.
What, a super small one?
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
The trouble with these ultra miniature things like these little calculators that you open, they're in a pocketbook.
Yes.
Frightened of breaking them in half.
One page you write on, the other page is a calculator.
Yeah,
They're so
very
thin.
thin.
But I mean, if you get a Sievers like that, the little speaks are so small,
Well,
Yeah.
it just comes
Maybe-
out with a squeak.
Maybe they will invent a small speaker with
they
a
have.
phi.
There are flat speakers which they've invented.
Yeah. Which can sound quite reasonable.
I've never listened to one. I don't know.
Although actually, the size of the speaker has a fair bit to do with it. But a lot of these small sievers, the output stage leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Now-
super crossover distortion.
If you like, the speaker in the 101's about 1 inch big.
Yeah.
It's silly, isn't it?
If you short out the filter and listen to the branch in phi, there's no bass, but it sounds perfectly clean.
I don't know why they have communications audio on receive. It's quite silly.
The what we ought to do, talking about all this modern developments, sit down and have a group discussion about what we think will be going on in 10 years' time, technically, then play that back in 10 years' time, if we're still
yeah.
around, and see who is the most accurate.
Yeah.
And have a competition, put it away in a,
Seal it in a film box or something.
seal it in a nitrate film box and put it in somebody's garage so the long can discover it again in 10 years'
Discover it,
time.
In 20 years' time, there's this enormous bang. This thing flies open.
That's right.
Bits of film going all directions.
You've got a super long time alarm clock in there which will ring in 10 years.
Yes.
Going tickety 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 tick.
I was often thinking of doing something like that ever since I read that sci-fi story where the guy got a fatal illness. But he assumed that it was very likely that in 500 years' time or 1,000
Wouldn't
years'
be
time,
fatal.
that wouldn't be fatal. There'd be a
So
cure
when he
for it.
went for a freeze.
So he put his little note into a time capsule
Yeah.
and buried it and said, in 1,000 years' time, when this illness can be cured and time travel is possible, will you come back and get me?
Ah,
You see? And then he went and sat down in his room, and
Yeah.
sure enough, this light started buzzing above his head
oh,
Really?
after he buried it. But that's quite plausible.
He buried it.
Yeah, he went out and buried it, and the moment he'd done that, he came back inside and went into his room.
Yeah.
A few hours later, this thing started buzzing and these people appeared.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
See, that's the thing to do.
All
Yes.
you had to do was make sure that
Must
you
do
planted it somewhere where it would be
Where it would be
likely
found
to
at
be
the
Where would
right
found.
that be,
time.
though?
Well,
Not
I don't know.
The
I mean,
Dome of Science near Canberra, I suppose, because
I
they're
don't
all
know.
scientific up there.
any place that's likely to get...
And not blown
Dug
up
up,
in the
yeah.
meantime.
Like a
Yeah.
park, like a nature reserve. In 1,000 years' time, they'll
yeah,
certainly dig
any
that up.
national park.
Well, that means if you want to do ZAMs or something,
Oh, yes.
you put a thing and say, look, come back and tell me the results of these ZAMs, or racing results or something. That's lotto numbers.
Or even if they're not allowed to interfere, it'd be interesting if you just asked them a question like, could you please put an answer in here
Yeah.
indicating during what century time travel became possible?
Yeah.
And you go out a few hours later and open it up again and see if the messages appeared back.
Why don't we try that?
Why don't
We
we?
must do it. Oh, yeah.
It's just a matter of where you plant it, so that they'll find it in 1,000 years'
That's
time.
right. Well,
See,
yeah.
all you've got to do is,
And we
is
wouldn't
make
know.
sure
It's very
you've got to ensure that it does stay there.
for 1,000 years.
You've got to make up in your mind. You've got to be
Yeah.
very determined in your mind that you're going to leave it there.
Yeah. What do you mean to leave it there?
Well, if you don't leave it there, then it won't work.
No,
Because
but
then they won't be able to find it. If
but
have-
you just have to go out and put it somewhere.
Yeah, but you must
You must
intend.
leave it there.
You must intend to leave
See,
it
what
there.
happens if you put it out there, the people come and tell you something, and then you go and get it back again?
Oh, right.
Ah! Paradoxes.
Plus,
Well,
of course,
time
the
travel.
fact that you've got to be careful because all that might happen is that Will and the Wrecker will get it or something.
Yeah. You can put thousands of them everywhere. That'd
Then
be
you
the
might
best way.
suddenly have crowds of people arriving at your
Put some on the
door.
moon would be a good place too, because I'll be going up there.
One of those rotary hole diggers would be quite good because you
Yeah.
could bury it 12
Post hole
feet.
digger.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the thieves could come up and go for a
Oh,
bulldoze.
I know. Hang on.
Yeah.
The sorts of places they'd probably dig up in 500 years' time be
Old buildings.
tips. No,
Tips.
tips.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah,
took a
it's doing
slice through a tip,
archaeology.
Yeah.
you'd find all these old...
Yeah.
Do those for archaeological
Yeah,
reasons.
you'd find all these old
Yeah.
glad bags and all
Yeah.
that.
And you'd find half moon sievers and notes inside, please come and... Because a building, a modern building now, you could put it in the basement of that because they knock them down later.
The trouble is they knock them down every 100 years.
Yeah, they don't
It wouldn't
really
be something
last.
where they'd go looking on an archaeology expedition. Say we all get wiped out.
But how long will it be before they get time travel? It could be a long time.
Well, you just don't know.
Well, if they do anyway, I mean, it's, well...
It's theoretically
Well, the
possible.
government
now.
should
It's
build-
rather-
Why is it
rather
theoretically
expensive.
possible?
The government should build a big tower, big monolith thing,
Yeah.
just for this purpose, and say we built it, we put all our information for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
We're not going to touch it
Yeah.
for 1,000 years. Then
Some
they can
people-
come back and fix it.
Some people must make, time capsules and things. I'm sure they do.
In the future.
No, I mean, there must be people around. I'm sure I've read about it somewhere who collect
Oh,
photos
time
of the time.
capsules. Yeah.
There's one up in Shepparton that'd been put down in 1975.
Really?
Didn't you see that?
No.
It wouldn't be much of interest to dig it up now. There's some old record,
Yeah.
ABBA record, I suppose.
When
Yeah.
would they put it into a block of concrete or something?
Oh, it's probably something. Probably when they pull it out, it's just all decayed. They're dead frogs and things.
I would hope not.
Fox.
Hopefully they have some sense in. They must have.
Why don't you seal the door onto your shack and use this as a time capsule for that? They'd look
That's
and
a
they'd
good
say,
idea.
Now look.
is this what culture was like back in the
Wait, this-
70s?
Now look,
Skeleton
Steve.
sitting there, sort of looking at.
Look, it already has done half, almost looks like 1,000 years old now. Look at that Seavers.
Now look.
Now look, Mr. Stewart.
Look at how ancient.
Sitting in a time capsule.
Yeah.
You could make this a monument, this shack,
I
a
suppose we
monument.
could charge people to come in.
They could look through the glass there and peer through.
Yeah.
If you became Prime Minister or
5
something,
cents a look.
What would you do? Yes.
Prime Minister or something important,
Mm.
in 100 years' time, this house would be National Trust and have it.
Yeah.
People would walk through, there'd be like rope
Yeah, this
chains,
little cord across.
and they could look through
Do
this
not
window,
touch.
and there'd be a cardboard used thing on this.
Yeah, a wax
flash.
dummy of branch.
Little mechanical mouth going for a flash.
Yes, the cigarette
And
would
they-
burn
they
down.
put
and
20
it
Little
would melt.
cassette recorder stuck to the back.
They put 20 cents in, the cassette recorder starts doing a crossband.
Yeah, he
3
goes
AML
for jam.
testing.
All
Oh,
muffled.
VK3 AML testing.
And they say, look, this is what the branch did, how he spent his younger days, the first half of his
Yeah.
life before he
And
became
now look at him.
Prime Minister.
That's right.
I
Well,
mean, you could be elected
you
tomorrow.
could announce the budget, $60 million will be spent on building big measures.
Well done, then. Yes.
This little cassette going around. I think I'll go out and become Prime Minister.
Yes.
Squeak jam.
You can imagine if you were Prime Minister or the Treasurer and you're doing missions, a lot of your secrets would go for a leak.
You
Talk
wouldn't-
about it on night.
You
Well, a
wouldn't
couple
want to
of
get
the-
deed.
People wouldn't follow the secrets of communications if you were the Prime Minister
What was his
or
name?
the Treasurer.
Silverberg in the States was a ham.
Was he?
Goldberg.
That'd be a bit bad. You'd want to sort of keep it secret.
You say, yeah, I think I might increase the SRD
Yeah.
ratio tomorrow by
People would say
25%.
how bad. You'd want to buy a new
Ooh.
sieve so you lower the tax on
Yeah,
sievers
yeah.
for that week.
You knock it off for 1 week and then change
Put
your
it
mind.
back again.
If you
The
really,
cost of licences are going up, apparently,
Really?
to
Why?
$90, I think it was, a year. Communication licences.
But they're spending
so
all
you have
that.
to pay $90.
Yes.
It's true. That'll put us away of business.
But
CB licences not affected.
why?
Really?
But since it's 1973, they haven't been invented anyhow.
That's true.
That's right. I wonder if they'll ever license CB. It was interesting listening to those.
The long
crossbands.
reckons they will.
Really?
Well, that time capsule we planted last week,
Yeah.
I opened that a couple of days ago. It does say that they will bring in CB
That's most interesting.
in
And tell me,
1977.
Who the time people, the
Yeah, they sent me back this message
Time
from,
Lord.
from 2048.
is that when they got time travel?
Yes, apparently.
That's not very long.
interesting.
They